So I'm gonna start off relatively complimentary of Philly. I would say, I'm not a Chiefs fan. I just don't really. I'm a Pittsburgh guy, so I'm not gonna sit there and act like I'm rooting for Philly just to I'm impartial. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't like Philly. Let's be real here. And I've been pretty honest about that, right? But I will say, I have great respect for Jalen Hurts. I would pay him tomorrow. I think the maturity, the leadership, what he showed with a bad shoulder, I thought for a 15-minute quarter, so 45, I would say for about 53 minutes, he thoroughly outplayed Patrick Mahomes. I would say if you made a list of the top 5 throws, he had 4 of them. I mean, that throw to Goddard, insane. There were a couple of them, right? So he had a fantastic game. And here's what's crazy. Did you see the Hail Mary at the end? If that doesn't tell you what Jalen was playing through, he made it 35 yards? It was an awful throw. Because that shows you what he was playing with that shoulder. He was nowhere close to 100%. Put on an all-time performance. Nick Sirianni, I would say, really nice game plan. Did you get beat in the adjustment game? Yeah. Who'd you get beat by? Andy Reid. I mean, are we going to sit here? Are we going to crucify Nick Sirianni because he didn't make as good of adjustments as, the best coach, especially the best second-half coach, especially the best second-half coach off a bye in league history? No.
With the best quarterback.
No, with the best quarterback, right? That's just I'm not going to sit there and crucify Nick Sirianni for that. We can nitpick this, that, and the other thing, but in reality, he had a really nice game plan, was really, really emotional, was fired up. His team fed off it. You could feel it early, right? So now that I said that about the Eagles, I just want to preface it by saying that. Much like my message to Cincinnati, shut your mouth, all right? I am so sick and tired. But the call, the holding call. Okay, let's break this down. First of all, everybody on the internet that's taking a little screenshot of the call, can we actually screenshot the correct portion of the play that the actual penalty was on? It wasn't when Juju turned upfield. Not at all. It was when he was making the break to then break back outside and burn Bradbury like they've burned the DBs on 5 or 6 routes in the same very quarter. Okay? So that's where the holding was. Let's start there. Second of all, if I hear one more person tell me that ball was uncatchable, I'm going to lose my effing mind. Clearly you don't know football. If I get one little weasel from Philadelphia in my TikTok comment telling me that I suck and that this is the worst take and that ball was uncatchable, I will literally jump through the screen at your 8-year-old face and punt you down the stairs, kid. Because you clearly don't know football. Obviously. Because if you did, you'd know that there's no such thing as an uncatchable football on a holding call. You want to know why? And I bet you don't even know why. Because if you're dumb enough to make that argument, you don't know why. I'll tell you why. Because a holding penalty is contact or impedance of the receiver before the ball is thrown. So the ball is not in the air when the penalty is committed. Therefore, the ball that has not been thrown yet cannot be uncatchable because it's still in the freaking quarterback's hand. Okay, let's start there. Third thing. At that stage of the game, you can't make that call in that moment. What are you talking about? It's the same rules the entire game. Whenever they first snap the ball, the first play of the game and the last play of the game, it's the same rule book. I hate to tell you. There's not a breakdown by hey, first quarter, this is what you're going to call. Second quarter, you're going to call this. I know the whole scripted thing has been big. There's not a script for what the officials call based on the quarter. I hate to let you in on that information, Philly fans. I'm sorry to bum you out, but that's just a fact of the matter. It has never been since, the 80s when they made the Mel Blount rule because he would just absolutely eviscerate receivers as soon as they stepped off the line. They couldn't even get into their routes because he would absolutely mug them. So they made a rule hey, we got to not let them tackle receivers so we have some semblance of entertainment in this game. After all, it is a TV show. Let's remember that. So it's never been since that, 1980, right? You have never been able to hold a receiver to impede his separation and slingshot yourself back into position to cover him. That has never been and will never be not holding. It never will be, never has been. Right? Go look frame by frame. Juju is going to break inside, and then he is going to plant his foot spin and go to break outside. I don't care if it's behind the line of scrimmage. It does not matter. He's then going to break outside. Here's why it's important, right? So not only all game have the Chiefs been burning him on that route, that's the point of separation. It's not like he was just running a go and there was some contact both ways, right? That is the point of separation, right? Officials are looking at the top of routes. That is the top of that route, right? That's like doing a curl route. You know how like on OPI, if at the top of a route you see a receiver extend their arm, it's PI because that's where the contact matters. So at the top of the route, it has never been and will never be okay to physically impede somebody's progress, thus slingshotting yourself by holding back to a closer point to then defend the football. It's never been okay. It never will be okay. Like, I'm very confused where this notion that, like, oh, it was a little tug. Okay, it's never been okay. You can't do it. I'm sorry, it is what it is. Go listen to Sirianni. Go listen to Bradbury himself. Go listen to Jalen Hurts. Nobody's making excuses except for sorry-ass Philadelphia fans. That's on you. That's on you. Wake up. Here's an idea. Maybe make a stop in the second half. Maybe don't let a 60-some-yard punt return. Maybe don't go to switch hands, drop the ball, and let it go for 60 yards the other way. Well, like, there's like plenty of things you could have done for that not to be a problem. Yet it was a problem, and that's who you're going to blame. And we're all so shocked that Philly fans are sorry as hell. All right, that's just the fact of the matter. I'm sorry to let your sky come crashing down on you as if Sunday didn't do it bad enough to you, but that's just the reality of it. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Lost to a better quarterback, better coach, probably a better offensive line, at least that day. It is what it is. But to sit there and blame an official, he didn't make a stop in the second half. You had two guys in the red zone get open by 10-plus yards. In the red zone. That doesn't happen. That's not a real thing. All right, in the NFL. That's just not a thing. So, I mean, we can sit here and blame people, but at the end of the day, it's their fault.
Yeah,